I'll just remind you that last week we spoke about Shaul and how King Shaul could have, how he could have gone to.
He was a huge tzaddik.
Yeah, huge tzaddik. How could he have gone to the sorcerers to hear about what's going to happen in the next world? And we gave 3 different answers last week about how that works. I'm just reviewing it, so you remember? So there are a few interesting halachic questions. I'm actually thinking of doing a course on the dilemmas that come up specifically because of Shaul. For example, how did Shaul commit suicide? He falls on his own sword. And you can have a number of different answers how this could be. Either he was allowed to, he wasn't allowed to. Are there times where public figures that would, if they would be captive, they would give up so much information to the enemy that it would endanger other Jews? Is that a reason why a person might take their own life? It's a fascinating halachic discussion. Then there's another halachic question of how was Shaul's body allowed to be burned? They cremated his body at the end of his life.
What?
The Jewish community did, Shaul.
What?
Yeah, it's in the Tanakh. Most people, everyone I've said to this recently, they don't. Well, there are commentators that didn't burn him, they just burned his clothes, but they said they burned him because a king's clothes is like himself. Okay, there are those kind of answers. There's answers of no, Shaul was actually burned. So the questions that come up here, or how is Yaakov Avinu? Yaakov Avinu, Yosef Tzaddik, one of them was mummified. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Yosef.
it was Yaakov.
Yaakov, right?
Yaakov.
I remember, yeah. Are you sure it was Yosef?
It was Yaakov and Yosef.
Could be both.
Oh.
I remember
Because Pharaoh wanted to
honor him.
Correct. And then Yosef. I'm assuming
what does
Yosef.
that mean for halakha? Do we do such things? These are they're not just like cute. This is Tanakh. This is like from Hashem.
Yeah.
So these questions need serious answers. And one day I'm going to give a course on these halachic dilemmas from Tanakh.
What?
We're working on it. Those are the kind of things that, the stories people know. I hope people know. But there's like some things you just have to tackle and say. I'm almost positive the reason why many religious Jews don't study Tanakh is out of a fear that they don't have answers to the questions that Tanakh brings up. Like, how could our kings be married to 1,000 women? What kind of if I told you I know a great rabbi who was married to 1,000 women, you would run away from me. So what about we have certain things that because we look at the Torah from our 2017 lens, we struggle with, and we have to really address those questions. But that's one day I'll give a class about it.
There's so many questions.
Today,
It's good though.
Today we'll be talking about on page 138. Rabbi Yonatan Halevy says, "Uptichat filatenu," the opening of our morning prayers. Sheyodim otam anashim v'aktanim, that even the women and children know. Why does he say women and children? Even the women and children. What generation is he living in here?
Well, women aren't obligated in time on mitzvot,
But say even better.
This is.
Probably in Rabbi Yonatan Halevy's time, it was very rare to find a woman who was
who's
literate.
literate. Oh.
But even those of us that can't read know this prayer.
Okay.
Kol shekhan hachachamim, how much more so the sages. Elohai, my God, neshama shnatata bi tehora, the soul that you have given me is pure. Ata berata, you created it. V'ata yitzarta, and you formed it. V'ata nefachta bi, and you breathed it into me. V'ata meshamara b'kirbi, and you preserve it within me. V'ata atid itla mimeni, and you will eventually take it away from me. V'lachzira bi la'atid lavo, and you will give it back into me in the future. Kol zman shenshama b'kirbi, and so long as my soul is within me, modeh ani lefanecha, I give thanks to you, Adonai Elohai, my God. Shata hu ribon kol ha'maasim. Notice the wording here is slightly different than the ones we have in our Siddur. And he actually, you see in the English, he adds in the words that are missing from in the brackets. Those are the words that are in the standard Siddur today. Baruch hamachzir neshamot lifgarim metim. Blessed are you, Hashem, who returns souls to dead corpses. So now, he's saying you have to understand, Rabbi Halevy is trying to explain to the king, understand that the Jews have always believed in the afterlife. Even if there are not such blatant verses in the Torah that talk about the afterlife, but we believe in such a thing. It's absolutely, it's ingrained in our Siddur, it's even in the Psukim of the Torah that are alluded to it. Now he wants to define to us what is Gan Eden itself, what is Olam Haba, how do these things work. And what I believe we're going to do is we're going to finish this section, and then I'm going to take on a journey through the writings of Rabbi Yudah Fatay, the Kabbalist of Baghdad. He's going to walk us through what is Gan Eden, what is Gehinnom, why are they called these things, where is Olam Haba, what does Olam Haba look like, is it physical, is it spiritual, is there food, is there drink, why does some rabbis say this, why do some rabbis say that, How many years is Mashiach going to last? Is there a new world? If there's a new world, where is it going to be? All kinds of questions like that he's going to talk about. V'gan Eden atzmo, the Garden of Eden itself, asher hirbu b'nei adam mizachod, which is cited by a lot of people, not just Jews. They talk about the Garden of Eden. Lo lakhu oto ki min Torah. They borrowed it from the Torah. Where does a Muslim guy get the word Garden of Eden? We invented this concept. V'hi ha'madrega shehuchana la'adam. This is the level which was prepared for a person. V'lulei shechata hayamed baranetzach, and the person would not sin, they would stay there forever. V'chen gehinom, and gehinom hu makom yadua karov liYerushalayim. Gehinom is a place that is very near to Jerusalem. I will explain exactly what this means. Gai she'en ha'esh nichbet mimeno. It is a valley which the fire never ceases to burn in. Hayu sofin ba'atzmot ha'tumah v'nvelot u'shar ha'tumot. They would burn all kinds of impure things there. V'hamila ivrit murkavet, and the Hebrew term is made up of it's a murkavet, means it's, rakevet is a train because it's made up of many carts. So murkav means sophisticated, or it's made up of other words.
Gehenna.
Gehinom means Gai, the valley of Hinnom. Gai Hinnom.
Oh.
And I spoke on Shabbat a few weeks ago. What is Gai? Who is Hinnom? What is that?
What's it?
We're going to talk about it when we get there. You know what? Let's stop here. Why should I go forward? Who's rushing? The first time we find the word Gan Eden is in the beginning of the Torah in Bereshit, in the second chapter. The Torah speaks about Gan Eden and the rivers coming out of Gan Eden. It's important to know that there are rabbis who argue about where is Gan Eden. Some hold that it's actually a place on earth that you could go find if you wanted to. Others, including Rabbi Yonatan Halevy, are very aware that it's not a place on this earth, it's a different realm, it's a different place, a different dimension. But there are ways to read the Torah which could lead you to believe that Gan Eden is a place here. It does not seem to be the most widely accepted Jewish belief.
But actually, if you read the Torah, it says that Adam and Hava were in Gan Eden.
And then they got
Yeah, and they got
kicked out.
So maybe it was a state of mind or something like that.
According to the camp of Rabbi Yonatan Halevy, this world really begins when Adam and Chava are thrown out of Gan Eden.
Okay.
And it says in the Torah, Vayas Adonai Elohim la'Adam u'lishto. Hashem makes for Adam and his wife kotnot or coats of leather,
Leather?
skin,
Isn't it
flesh.
Like nail stuff?
Vayal bishem, and he dresses them in it. Ketonet this kind of leather clothing, that is the body. It's the way we understand this is that they left a dimension which was spiritual to enter into a world which was physical, and they had to receive a body in order to do it.
Oh, they didn't have a body before that?
No.
So how did Hava come out of...
Very good. So we have to talk what is Gan Eden first. What is Gehinnom? What is Namaba? It's a great question. We can get there. Now he talks about here that Gai Hinnom is the valley of Hinnom, Ben Hinnom actually. And he says that there they used to offer sacrifices and all such things. Rabbi Yonatan Halevy is being very kind here with his language. And I'm going to actually read to you from Rabbi Yehuda Fataya what actually happens in Gehinnom and why it's called that. And I read a little bit about it on Shabbat. I don't know if either of you were there, but I will speak to you about it in a moment. 1 second, I'll just...
Is it, so it's in here?
It will be in there, and I'm going to actually tell you where. 1 second. Just have the page open. I lost my spot for a moment. Maybe one day I should give a class on Rabbi Yonatan Halevy.
Wow.
Okay.
It would be a very interesting class.
Just have the page open. Well, you're going to go to the prophet Yeshayahu in that book. His commentary on Yeshayahu. Not the first commentary, but the second one. I'm going to read out loud though. This is Hebrew, that's English.
Oh my gosh, there's something, was it near the beginning? The chapter, what chapter is it?
Go to the, do you see, does it go based on, it's chapter
It goes by Torah.
81. It's not
Yeah,
81,
yeah,
really?
Yeshayahu.
No, sorry.
Jeremiah. Okay, chapter 85. The secret of God's reincarnation.
No, chapter 82.
Chapter 82.
What does it say there?
Oh, yeah, 82, okay. Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
Rabbi Yehuda Fataya, this is him. He was a Kabbalist who lived in Baghdad.
Yeah.
He wrote many commentaries on different Kabbalistic works. He was a brilliant Mekubal and a very holy person. He records a lot of the spiritual encounters he had, speaking with spirits and seeing reincarnations. And he passed away after the founding of the State of Israel, so it's not so long ago. He's in our last generation. Why does the world not study him? The world does. In the Sephardic Kabbalah world, we study him. In the street, people would prefer to read articles from the internet than actual people who lived Kabbalah, didn't just write articles about it.
This is so real. And this is pretty tough stuff.
Yeah.
When's it close to front door?
I'm reading in the second paragraph. V'nira laniut dati. It appears to my humble opinion. Kishem haikari shel Gehinam. Should I find it for you, Molly?
Sorry.
You might need to help me with some of the English how we translate. Okay. 252 at the top of it. It says there was called Vayinikam b'fikol Nevi'im b'shem Tofte. It was called in the name of the prophets Tofte. Hashem Sechel Tebito. Okay, I'm going to skip a few lines here. Meaning, originally, before we had the word Gehenim, we called it Tofte. That was the name for it. V'tzadikim arishonim, the early tzadikim, shayu b'bayit rishon, that were in the first temple, bizman Menashe melech Yehuda, in the days of the king Menashe. Do you remember King Menashe? Mm-hmm. Tell me anything about him.
Oh wait,
He was the king of Yehuda.
Son.
Menashe is the son of...
Oh, was it?
No,
He's
I
a
mean
grandson
Yosef.
of Isaiah, right?
He's the son of
Yes.
King Chizkiyahu.
Oh, see, I'm thinking wrong.
And he, okay, so is he the grandson of?
I don't know if he's a grandson. Yeshayahu told him to marry. It could, yeah, it could be. It could be
wait.
actually.
Yes, but then he had a really, he's the one who had a
Terrible
really,
son.
and he's the one who killed his grandfather.
This is Menashe.
Oh.
The tzaddikim who in that generation, karu leha Tofte, they called this place Tofte b'shem Gehinom. Why? Al Shem Ish Echad, in the name of one man, Shaya ben Mimehem, who lived in their generation. Hanikra ben Hinom. His name was the son of Hinom. Shaya lo mechutz Yerushalayim gai gadol me'od. He had right outside of Jerusalem a huge valley. I actually know where that valley is. We've all been there. You've seen it if you've ever gone to the Western Wall. You have to drive by it. Vaitani kret al shmo, and it was called Gei ben Hinom, the valley of Ben Hinom. Oh, just Gei Hinom, the valley of Hinom. V'sham, and there, Hayam Mu'amad Selem Gadol. There they had a huge statue, an idol, Hanikam Molech, who's called Molech. Now, if you might remember that there's different commentaries. What exactly, when Hashem says, do not offer your children to Molech, some say it was just passing them through fire, some say they actually burned their children. He's going to explain what actually happened here with Molech. And I mentioned this in Shul a few weeks ago. V'hu na'asa min choshet, and it was made out of copper. Copper? V'tocho chalul, and the middle of the statue was hollow. V'tor panav k'mo ha'egel, and his face looked like an ox. V'yadav p'tuchot k'adam ha'potech yado l'kavim chavo. And his hands were open in front of him like a person who wanted to receive something from his friend. Like this. V'komarim, and the priests of Molech, hayu mesikin esh mechalelo. They would ignite fire. They would light wood and coals under the statue. Ad shayu nitzotzot nitazim mimeno. Until the statue got so hot that sparks were literally flying off of it. V'Yisrael hayu mevi'in b'nehem u'bnotahem la'avodat haMolech. And the Jews who had strayed from the service of Hashem went to go offer their children there to Molech. They would... I can read it to you, it's very gory.
It's horrible.
והכומרים היו נוטלים את התינוק מיד אביו, and the priest would take the baby from the hand of his father, ומשאירים אותו בתוך יד המולך, and they would take the baby and place him into the hand of Molech.
How could the people of Israel do that?
והתינוק היה נשרף מיד, and the baby would immediately burn alive. They would burn their babies alive. What do you mean? Idol worship. Idol worship.
It's
And I spoke about this in the synagogue. People who place their God before their family and their children. There are people who still worship Molech today. They just don't burn them in copper statues. They burn them in other ways.
Kind of like where the Inquisition got their idea, probably.
V'zeh, and this is called Gehinom, the valley of Gehinom. The fish hayu osim sham bamot la'amod lehem. They used to make big stages, platforms to stand on them. The tofef batupim, and they would drum drums be'et havarat hatinok la'molech. They would play music while they were killing these children. Kedei shelo yishmu aveim tzakato shel tinok, so the parents wouldn't hear the screaming of the child. V'yichmeru chamayim alav, and they were afraid that maybe they would have mercy on their children. V'yichzeru, and they would come back. V'yikchu miyad ha'komarim, they would take them away from the priests. The tzaddikim harishonim, I'm skipping the early tzaddikim, shayu bador ben Hinnom, that lived in the generation of ben Hinnom. Karu et ha'tofteh shel nevi'im, they renamed the tofteh of the prophets b'shem Gehinom. They called it Gehinom. Ya'an ki gam Gehinom haniskar, because this Gehinom that I mentioned, ha'komarim metzitim sham ba'amolech esh dola, the priests there burn a terrible fire, l'isrof et bnei Israel, to burn the Jews. V'hu k'demeon ha'tofteh, it's similar to the concept of tofteh, of burning in hell. שנאמר בה מדורתה אש ועצים הרבה, that it has big flames and wood, firewood. רק שבתופתה שורפים נשמות. In the tofta they burn souls. ובגיהינום שורפים גופות. In the Gehinom they burn bodies.
oh.
Oh, so it's two different levels. Of
Can you burn soul? The soul is
Concept. It's not, I don't think fire is souls. And it says, and that's why the rabbis, they almost, there's so much so that one of the rabbis says that if you want to see the entrance to hell, go to the valley of Gei Ben Hinnom. And I don't know that he literally meant, oh, go over there, you're going to find a door and that's going to take you to hell. But rather, you want to see what hell looks like? It's watching people burn their children, people dancing while they're doing it, banging bongo drums. It's almost like a person will live their whole life partying away in this world, knowing they're going to go to Gehinnom. For what purpose? Why are you so happy? You're drowning out. So your neshama cries out, and they decide to drown out their crying of their neshama with bongo drums. It could be their phones, or their surfing, or their movies, or their... People doing that now. They're numbing themselves to what they're actually doing to themselves. Husbands and wives are not husbands and wives anymore. Children and parents are not children. Relationships are work is not work used to be. Things that people talk about is not. They have to bump into a refined human being nowadays. It's such a hard thing. Like a person who, people, I'm very surprised. Baruch Hashem helps me. I never really have to deal much with anyone outside my community. It's a blessing for me. It's a little bit also of like a ghetto that keeps me safe. I'm not always healthy, but safe. And then I go out to the world, I'm in a store, and people curse in front of their children. Their children are cursing.
Yeah. I've seen people.
And they don't even bat an eyelid. I mean, I haven't heard that word in 2 years. All of a sudden, your 3-year-old saying it. I don't understand.
Oh,
I've seen parents teach their children how to curse.
I had a person who
Teach 'em.
they hurt themselves here. I'm not maybe a whole minute of curse words.
Oh,
It was
what?
like a river flowed out of their mouth. A river of ashes. I don't know, something came out. And it's unbelievable to me the way the world is just not. But how do we do? We drown it out with all kinds of things that keep us away from what we're actually supposed to be doing here. And that's what kind of Gehenom. Gehenom is, there's nothing worse than that. Our soul is crying out for help, and we're not listening to it. Our children are crying out for help, and we don't care. How could it be that somebody could come to me and tell me, I'm 70 years old. I've been a member of a synagogue my whole life. I've been doing a Pesach Seder for all 70 years of my life.
Oh.
And never once did I know that there was a Haggadah for the Pesach Seder.
Huh?
Their parents never told them, because it's a cultural Jewish event.
Mm.
They didn't tell them it was a book you read. Says it's okay if they didn't want me to be observant, but to rob me for 70 years of my life that I don't even know my own religion? Said, how can you rob me for that? You don't want me to be fine, but to steal my heritage from me? And what do you give me in return? It's like Esav gives up his whole life for a pot of lentil soup, a bowl of lentil soup. How many of us, so what did you trade your life for? You came here, immigrants, you wanted to become Americans, you gave up your religion, you gave up your faith, you gave up your communities, you gave up your children, you gave up your desire to marry Jewish, and what do you have left? You got the lentil soup, Chava. They left you and it's 70 years later and it's moldy already. What do we get? What do we get in return? You get that in the next 10 years, the next million Jews that are going to get married, over 500,000 of them are going to marry non-Jews. That's what you get. 28% of those 500,000 people are going to raise their children with any semblance of a Jewish education. That could mean Hanukkah under the Christmas tree. That counts for the 28%. We haven't given a Jew a reason to stay Jewish. We gave them what? What did we give them?
A reason to run away.
I heard something very disturbing today. How this lack of being connected to something meaningful leads people to distractions. There's a new game that teenagers play. It's called the choking game. Did you hear about it? I just heard about it today. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Kids choke themselves or get choked till they're really hypoxic. And because
They pass out.
it gives them a high.
Yeah.
Heard about this one?
Can you imagine?
Kids used to do it when I was in middle school.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they break blood vessels in their necks. They have bruises, and because
It's a game?
it's a
It's a
game,
game,
choking
yeah.
game.
I'm sure they
I
get some
couldn't
kind of high from
believe
it, I can imagine.
Such a thing. But this is how far people go to get a high because they have absolutely nothing meaningful enough. What are their parents giving them? Nothing. If a kid is doing something crazy like that,
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
That's a game. It's an acronym.
that's
It's the
good.
words.
That's good.
A lot of people who are living Gehenom here. In fact, Rabbi say that many HaShamayim, they already get their Gehenom here. And it looks like they're doing well. It looks like they're successful. It looks like they're... How many drug rehab centers they have to pick up their kids from? How much chutzpah to live a whole life with a child who just talks back at you and screams at you and curses at you. And it's a certain level of Gehenom that exists in the world.
Yeah.
If that happens at Tzaddik, so we say that Tzaddik is getting their Gehenom here. Because that way in the next world they don't get any Gehenom.
Right.
We're going to start talking about Olam Haba and Ramazan. Let me see what I can get.
I think the funniest thing is like when you tell people, like I'm telling you, everybody I've met so many people that pay Judaism, they look at it like it's Christianity, and they think it's exactly the same, like the way we view everything. And so when I tell them, oh, we don't believe in like an eternal hell where you burn forever. What?
They think
That's
that's
really?
heretical, in fact.
And they're like, what are you talking about? And I tell them, and they're like, really? It's like their mind is blown.
But it's not a new thing. That I read a fascinating article about why certain rabbis spent their lives persecuting Maimonides, the rabbi. It seems like there was a whole branch of Jews, not all Ashkenazi, some Sephardic, some Ashkenazi, in the Western world, who had big rabbis, names that you heard of, who had become very familiar with their Christian neighbors' concepts of religion. They had a very hard time accepting from the Rambam the fact that we're not Christians. That we don't believe in angels the way you think angels look like. We don't believe in hell the way you think hell. We don't believe in heaven the way you think heaven. The Rambam says, listen, I'm not apologizing to you. I'm going to tell you Jewish as Jewish is meant to be, not as Jewish people in the Christian world who want to impress their friends with. And it became so much so that the rabbinate accepted certain. Imagine this: you'd go to a Jewish day school. Anyone, it doesn't matter, it's religious or not. Say, draw for me an angel. Not you, an angel. And they would draw you something with white, fluffy wings and a halo on it. Where in our Torah does that say an angel? When we say the word in Shabbat, we give a speech. Oh, the angels come. I didn't define to a person what is an angel, but I'm saying the word angel, and the only context they have angel is a Disney movie, it's my next door neighbor, it's the Christian culture in which I grew up. And so essentially I'm driving home Christian messages to my community or my students or my children because I haven't provided them with an alternative. And the Rambam says, I'm not doing this, I'm going to tell you the truth. And the people who attacked him said, no, you're shaking up what we believe way too much. We believe this is the way Jews have always believed in this tradition.
People like that.
And then big rabbis, and they persecuted the Rambam for this. Alright, the next chapter that I want to do is very, very long. I want to do it next week. It's all about Olam Haba. What is Olam Haba? What is the next world? Where do the neshamot go when a person passes away? Is that Gan Eden? Is that the next world? Is the next world a different reality? Is it here? Is it there? How many years is the day? It says the days of Mashiach. How long do the days of Mashiach last?
It says 1,000, but it's probably different.
So the question is, how does that work? So we're going to talk about all that next week. I'm just stopping because I'm trying to make the classes start at 7:30 and it's at 8:30.
You're right.
And so B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to stop at 8:30 and God
It's
willing,
8:27. Or
you have 3 minutes for me.
I have 8:30.
All right, Hashem, for good evening, B'ezrat Hashem.
Oh, thank you too. Okay, so I should.